Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 557 today. We are going to be continuing with Zoho campaigns. We are going to move on and look at automations and how you can automate engagement with your subscribers, with your purchasers, with maybe even reinvigorate engagement with your subscribers. So we're talking about automations here. Now, when we look at automations, you do need to remember that there are certain limitations based on the level of the account you're taking. We're going to look at some of them are just not going to be available to us because we haven't put the add-on or we don't have the level of account that we need to do this. But let's have a look at and see what an automation is, see how we can set it up, see the sorts of triggers we can use, and then work out how we might want to use one. All right, guys, let me move across. Here we are on our dashboard. You'll see that we've actually moved the needle a little in our little wizard here. We created a campaign the other day, so it's actually taken it. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at our automate our workflow, and it actually ties in nicely to our automate our user journey. So to find our automations, we need to come down here to our automation link on the left-hand side. Again, with all automations, you can have a look at what automations are already set up. If you are missing them, you can filter them and have a look about who owns them. Just click on the box and it will say who owns, asks you. It's early, I'm sorry. It's going to ask you to choose who owns the automations, and we've got no workflows because it's only me. And you'll notice it says here all active users. You can have a look at the status as well. Are they active, completed, draft, frozen, paused, shut down, stopped, suspended? So I'm just going to go back to the basic view here by me. There we go. Apply. There we go. So this is our automation workflow window. Now it is a workflow, and a workflow basically is when something happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. It's how the work flows through the system, even if it's automated, even if it's an email. To create a workflow, we come up here to the right-hand side where it says Create Workflow. Click on that. We can look at templates that are existing. There's a whole heap of templates here. Or we can create a custom workflow. Now, also in terms of having a look at these workflows, you do have the tabs across the top. So if you want to look at a welcoming and onboarding series, what templates do you have available in that series to you? Let me say that again. What templates are available in this in that category? Your nurture series, so that's they've subscribed. You want to just keep them warm while you get them to the next point in the prospect / client / customer timeline. You want to re-engage with them, you want to retain them, you want to do some e-commerce or some conditional workflows. The other thing you have in this screen is the ability to create a custom workflow. Now, we're not going to touch that today. I just want to touch some of the simple things and have a look at the triggers they've used. I honestly will start with a template 9 times out of 10 and then go back and tear it apart and do what I need it to do because it's easier. But you can create your own custom workflows. We will have a look at that. Maybe not in this video, maybe in the next one. Today, I'm really just going to focus on our welcome and onboarding series. Now, why would we want a welcome and onboarding series? Okay, well, I'm just going to come back and have a chat to you. This would be the most common workflow that I use, a welcome and onboarding series. This is the one that you would normally do when someone signs up to your newsletter, when you know how you have your lead capture, your subscription form on your website, and say, hey, sign up here, get a free gift, get something, and we'll keep in touch with you. You can and you should use something like a welcoming and onboarding series to just get them a little warmer, to keep them engaged until you move to the next point of, now I've got a product that I want to sell you, I've got a service I want to show you, I want to tell you a little bit more about this other thing that we're doing. The welcoming and onboarding thing is, I've used it quite successfully with hints and tips that promote me, my capabilities, my credentials. It also gives people some free information. I give value in those emails that I send out, and it just gets people to let me try that again. It just helps people get to know me better. It's that know, like, trust thing. It's part of that know, like, trust thing. So that's what you would use your workflow and onboarding for, and that's why I'm going to focus on that one today. I'm going to talk about it today and how you set it up. Okay, so welcoming and onboarding, we've got two. We've got a simple follow-up series and we've got a 10-day welcome series. I'm going to have a look at both. I'll see if I can look at both of them today. This one, let's have a look at what the comments. Come on, you can do this for me. Set up an onboarding message for your contacts and move them to your CRM system. Okay. Or start engaging your contacts as they join you by sending them onboarding messages over a span of 10 days. In fact, this is the one we're going to look at, the 10-day welcome series. I'm not going to touch CRM integration yet. We're not ready for that. I really just want to talk about the email marketing side of things and how you might use that when you don't have a CRM, because most small businesses, when they start out, don't have a CRM. So to use this template, it's really simple. We're just going to say use the template. You can do a preview on it. We're just going to use it. Okay, so now we have a couple of things to look at, and we're just going to go through this visual editor. I love the visual editor here. I love how it shows us the timelines. Well, not necessarily the timelines, it does, but shows us the process visually on what happens and what they get. Okay, so let's come up here. We've got two triggers. The grey boxes are triggers. What is a trigger? A trigger is the thing that presses the button to say start. The triggers in this case, the two triggers in this case, is on a form submission or on a list entry submission. The form submission, if I click on that, we can choose one of two options. The workflow will be triggered when a contact signs up on a form you select. So this is using the inbuilt Zoho Forms capability. You can use any of your own forms. You just use a slightly different trigger to set it up. We will cover that probably in another video. I'll probably do a Gravity Forms. I'll probably do a Gravity Forms integration for this. So if you choose any sign up form, that means any form that you've got created on your system, on the marketing system here, on the campaign system here, any form you've got set up will trigger this flow. Otherwise, you can say select a specific form. We haven't set up any forms yet, but if you did, they would appear up here and you would be able to select them and choose from a form or multiple forms to trigger this. The benefit of this is that you can have one automation that handles a number of different ways of a number of different places where you've got people coming into your site and where you've actually brought them, sorry, not into the site, into the list. Okay. The next option is on list entry, and this is when we add someone to a list. Let me just click on that. We get to select a list. So I'm going to use my sample list here. This workflow will trigger when contacts are added to the list you select. Choose the contacts who can enter the workflow. Existing and new contacts from the selected lists. Only new contacts who've entered the selected list. Only existing contacts already present in the selected list. Let's talk about what those options give us. So existing and new means anyone. anyone who is on the list today or enters the list after today will get this workflow. New contacts are for those who have entered the selected list. Now, what does that mean? That means that you can have people on a list. Maybe you've already put them through a follow-up series. Maybe you've already put them through a welcome series, and you've changed the series, or you've created a new series and you want to cut that list over from using the old series to the new series. But you don't want to spam existing contacts on the list and say, oh, look, you've just got to get this all again because I've changed my process. What you want to be able to do is cut it across to the new system, have new contacts come on and use the new system, and have your existing contacts on that list without doing anything to them. That's why you would do that. This simplifies I've got to tag them as new clients. I've got to set up a trigger that is anyone who enters the list after a specific date, get the date wrong, whatever it is. Only existing contacts who are already present in the selected list. This one comes down to when you want to try and re-engage with your contacts, when you want to re-engage with your list. This is a great one that you might have new people coming in. New people coming in might get one automation, which is your onboarding and welcome automation. Existing contacts, you might create one that goes back to, hey, we're still around. Hey, did you know that we've got all these new things happening? Here's something you might not be aware of. Here's something else that we're doing over here. And it's that re-engagement campaign. That's where you would use that trigger. In this case, we're just going to do it as a whole because we've just imported people. We want to bring them in. We want to say, hey, we've just started email marketing, whatever it is. Existing and new contacts from the selected list. Okay, so there are 2 triggers that we've set. We don't have a form configured at the moment, but we can have a form. We can add extra triggers. Let's have a look at the triggers. So over here, we have our triggers. On the left-hand side is our widgets. Let's call them widgets, widgets board. And we can have any number of triggers available to us. We can have them enter a segment. I'm going to pull them across. So to put them on, you just drag them across. And you'll see when you drag a trigger across, it automatically creates it to connects it to the first box. So on entering a segment, I don't think we've got we do. We had the segment for testing, which was my email address only. So you can choose a segment. If you're using segmentation on your list, you can choose a segment. And again, you've got the same options, existing and new in the segment, only when new contacts enter the segment, or only existing contacts in the segment. What are the other triggers we've got? Date field. This is good if you want to do like a birthday follow-up and remind people that they've got a birthday discount available or a birthday perk available to them. We don't have, okay, triggered this workflow based on a specific calendar date or custom date field. We don't actually have a custom date field, I think. No, we don't have a custom date field in our list setup. So this is not much use to us. You can create one. What would you use that for? It might be their date of birth. You might put their date of birth in there so that you can actually send them an email on their birthday, or send them an email series on their birthday. You can also make it, if you do this, it's an annual event. Workflows will recur annually on a selected date. So it will reset it at the end of the series and restart it again next year. Perfect when you're trying to do anniversaries, birth dates, licensing renewals, all those sorts of things. You can say select a specific date, and you can say, let's say we're coming up to what's a good word? Christmas. Say we're coming up to Christmas and you want to start sending out the good cheer and remind people that they've got to do things around Christmas and that you've got Christmas specials coming up and come into the store and all of those things, or maybe they've got credits expiring, all of those sorts of things. You could set that to go out. If we're going to do Christmas, let's November, December. Let's say we want to start on the 8th of December every year. This one you can only do it. Let me just check. So this one you can't do as a recurring, but you can say from the 8th of December this year, send out this set of emails for us, or do this set of things for us. Specify a definite time for contacts to enter the workflow. Choose the specific date of the selected date. specific time of the selected date for your contacts to enter the workflow. Allows the contact to enter at any time during the selected date. They can enter any time between 9 and 5 p.m. You can change this. You can notice the time zone. Be careful of your time zone. Allow contacts to enter at whatever time it is. Why do you want to do this? Well, you might not want to start your email marketing, this campaign, this automation to go out until 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's no use adding them to the campaign then anytime before 2 p.m. So you can say enters at 2 p.m. and it starts emailing out. Or you can say, look, we're going to bring them in anywhere between 2 and 5 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. We can also say they can enter before the selected date. I'm not going to do that. Well, let's have a look at it. One day before the selected date and the criteria for when they enter the workflow. You've got a whole heap of information as to why they enter the workflow. You can actually set it to a tag. If they're tagged as this, then send them into the workflow. If they are in the country, if they're in Australia, do this. If they're in the US, do this. So you've got a whole heap of criteria that will trigger this specific that set off this specific trigger. I'm going to just turn some of these off. I'm just going to go back. Okay, we're going to say apply. So we can put people into this workflow on a specific date. We can make it annual and recurring, or we can have it on a specific date and have it run once. We've got an email action. I'm going to have to start removing some of these. We'll do that in a minute. The email action. What email actions do we have? The workflow will trigger for contacts based on their responses to email sent. So is it for a specific email campaign or any email campaign? Replies can be tracked only for email campaigns where reply tracking is enabled. For plain text, the click activity track can only be tracked if track plain. So you've got to make sure if you're going to use this trigger that you are actually tracking the reply tracking. We don't have a campaign set up, but you could select an existing campaign. You could select another user's campaign, or you can tie it back into another workflow. Why would you do that? Well, maybe you've got them on your onboarding workflow and they do something in that says we're interested. You might say, click here if you're interested in this product or this service, and they click on the link. That will trigger this. If you've got it set to workflow and you select the workflow, it will trigger this, and it will also put them into this workflow. There's so much you can do with it. I'm just going to say any email campaign. What are the responses? Do they open it? Is it delivered? Is there a link clicked? Is it skipped? Has a survey been started? Has a survey been completed? Allow the entry of all the contacts who've already received the email campaign and perform the selected responses above. That's up to us. Okay, I am actually going to delete some of these triggers so that we aren't blocking up my screen. So we're going to get rid of this one. So to delete a trigger, once you've added it, you say, no, I don't want to do that. Just mouse over it. You see you've got a little garbage tin or a trash can here. Click on that and that will delete the trigger for you. No, you can't right click on them. So let's just, okay, so if you can't find the trash can on it, like this one has, you can use the three dots at the bottom. Remember, three dots at the bottom is always a menu. Click on the little garbage can or trash can in there. Yes, we want to delete that trigger. And yes, we want to delete that trigger. Okay, cool. What are the other triggers? We only have a few. We've got quite a few left. Okay. I'm not going to go into all of them, guys. You can see you've got a whole heap here. If you update a field on their entry, you can trigger this automation. If you assign a tag, if you remove a tag. I want to look at the open trigger. Using API. Okay. We will come back to this one. That's not what I thought that said. I am going blind, but that's okay. Oh, it's an open trigger. So you can use the API And if something happens, the API will trigger this automation. So maybe they hit a workflow and it does something on your website that then sends back a webhook to campaigns that says, this is the trigger, and it triggers this. So that's what an open trigger means. It doesn't mean opening an email. It's not open. Custom trigger. Custom trigger. How's that? Abandoned cart, purchase follow-up, or product specific follow-up. So these are all e-commerce. We might look at these in depth later. What I do want to look at, I think this is a cyclic trigger. I think that's what that says. I am half blind. Yep, cyclic trigger. What does that mean? Let's have a look at it. Configure. This will trigger the workflow at regular intervals such as daily, weekly, monthly for contacts who meet the specified criteria in your mail list. So we want to repeat this email every day, every month on Tuesday, every week, every 1 month for specific days. There we go. At 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Sydney time zone. The criteria for the contacts to enter the workflow, specify additional criteria. Okay, what are our criteria? I wish that would come up a bit higher so you guys could see it. Okay, so you've got everything here. What would be a good one? I'm just looking for one that might be useful to us. We don't really have anything. So let's just say that the tag is EPH, for example. So if someone has got the tag EPH in our list, it will trigger this workflow. Why would you do this? Well, this is like anniversaries. This is like birthdays. Maybe you're doing a campaign that says on every Monday you need to go and do these things. Maybe it's a productivity campaign and you want to help people improve their productivity. You could say every Monday send this email to people to remind them what they need to do. It's the cyclic trigger. Okay, that's all the triggers. I'm going to remove that. So there's a lot to see, and I hope you can see how flexible this can be. But at the moment, we're just going to do this as a 10-day welcome series. Normally it would be because people fill in a form and join the list, or we manually add someone. Maybe we've been out to a trade show or something, or a trade show or a convention, and we've got people's names and they said, yeah, we'd like to keep in touch, we'd like to know more about what you do. You can manually add them to your list, or you can import them into your list in a manual import. Sorry, I'm kind of struggling a bit, hey. Okay, so I'm just going to look across here on the left hand side. We have process. We can split a flow control. We can have a simple multi-way or email activity. I'll come back to it. And then we have actions, or I might come back to this one. We might go into that in another video or another episode where we actually get down into the nitty-gritty. Got so many things we can do. We can send emails. We can do an A/B test. A/B test, for those of you that are new to the podcast, you have two versions of the same email. They might have slightly different wording. They might use slightly different graphics. They might use different colors. They might use different call to actions. And you want to know which one does the best, which one does better. A/B tests do that. Some of your lists will get this one. Some of your lists will get this one. You can then compare the results to see which one performed better. You can send an SMS if you have SMSs connected up to campaigns. We haven't connected SMS up to this campaign. Productivity, we can add to list, remove from list, assign tag, remove tag, add a score, subtract a score. I'm not going into contact scoring. That's about the quality of your contact. Subscription management, we can update a field on, we can update their subscription. We can update fields on their entry. We can send an internal email notification. So it might be that you've got an account manager, you've got a team who looks after a big group of people, and each of them have their own their own set of clients. Every client gets the same email, but you don't want that just to sort of go back to a central one and someone to say, oh, I'll ring them. You want the account manager to follow up with that, or you want the salesperson who is responsible for that client to follow up. So you can trigger them by sending them an email. You can remove them from the workflow. If they do a specific action, they no longer need this workflow, move them out of it. A wait time, we've got a couple of those in here, we'll go through it. A wait condition, and move them to another workflow. So much like an exit from the workflow, if they do something, you want to move them to another workflow and stop this workflow, you can move them out. We are not going to be looking at the CRM actions yet. We have not got the CRM connected to this account. All right, so let's go through this campaign. Now that I've gone through the triggers and the actions and the things that we can do, let's have a look and see how this is set up. So people come in, they're added to the list. They the first thing they hit is a wait 1 day. Let's have a look at, can I just click on that? No, I've got to edit. Okay, edit it. The action makes your contact wait for a specific amount of time before they move into the further processes of the workflow. Make them wait a day, resume the workflow immediately after the wait duration, or if you really want to get them just during their working hours, this would be a good way of doing it, saying between 9 and 5 p.m. 1700. Not 0900 and 1700 hours Australian Eastern Standard Time. And you can choose which days of the week. So if not these days of the week, if this is triggered and is met and it's a Sunday or a Saturday and you don't want them to get an email on a weekend, you can turn it off and they will get it on the next working day, the following Monday. Okay. So the wait is the idea of a wait is you don't want to dump everything on them. So they join the list. You don't necessarily want to send them an email straight away. You want to wait a day and say, hey, listen, thanks so much for visiting the site and asking for updates and all the rest of it. But you don't want that to go out straight away. You can make it wait a day. I think a day is the lowest, the smallest. Oh, we can do hours. So you can do it within an hour or you can do it within a day. I think it is whole hours. You can send it out immediately at 0 hours. Why you would do that? Oh, you can't go down to 0. The lowest you've got is 1 hour or 1 day in those terms. So after we've waited, what do we do? Okay, here we create a message. You notice you've got a little exclamation point here. It says when you mouse over it, it gives you what the issue is. It's telling you that there's something about this message that you need to look at, or this block you need to look at. Create a message for your recipients who enter this workflow. So after a day, this is the message they're going to get. Let's go in and edit it. Oh, that's edit response. So, oh, we haven't got a message, so we can't. So it says, it says create message here. Click on create message. Please configure a trigger before you proceed. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of the on submission because we don't have a form configured. And this one, so I'm just looking, making sure I've got it right. Right, because I didn't have the list set up, it wasn't going to let me in to do it. So you do have to have your trigger set up before you do your emails. It's the way it is, sorry. So when you set up your message, you choose your message, you choose your subject. As with campaigns, as with a mail out campaign, you set your subject, you can personalize it, and you can also put the pre-header in. The pre-header is that little bit of information that appears in your emails. When you're looking at it, it's got the summary of it. Normally it will take the top of the email that you send. You can actually predefine it. So I'd make this a call to action. Make it something that they want to click on to read the email. You can say, ask who's sending this email. So same sender for all based on a custom field. So if you were running account managers or if you had salespeople and you've got people who are responsible for clients, you can actually use a custom field and identify the contact with the salesperson. For now, I'm just going to say same sender, enter the sender name. Do we want to turn on reply tracking? Track and monitor you. Yep. I'm not going to, but you can do that to enable with they'll generate. Yep. If you go back to my campaigns when I talk about my episode, I think it was yesterday, I talk about this. So reply tracking, who do we want them to reply to? Do we want them to reply to a single address? In this case, we do because we don't have custom fields configured. But much like up here, if we're personalizing details based on the sender, we might want them to send their responses back to the salesperson or the account manager or the person who's responsible for looking after them. I'm leaving it as single address. This is normally what would be done. Save. What is it not letting me do, or am I just being... It's just slow. It's just me. My internet is slow, clearly. Content. We can create the content of our first email. This is where, let me just go back. This is where you need to spend a little bit of time and think about how you want your messaging to look. You should, by this point, have a couple of templates set up. I went through how to do templates and how to import templates done for you by your designers and such. But make sure you've got your templates set up, ready to go by the time you get into creating an automation. We can say create content. We can use a saved template. We can use a pre-designed template. We can use a basic template. Let's just use... the new basic template that I created yesterday. Day before. It all blurs together. Okay, so that's the template we're using. We can edit that. We can put in our text. We can change our images for this email. Remember, this is the email that is going to go out when they hit this block. I'm not going to change anything. Just going to click proceed. We're saving the content. Yay! Need some waiting music, don't we? Now we found 2 warnings in this email. Again, this is something that I really, really like about the system, is it will actually do a very quick check on the content and make sure you've got things right. So we've got default image because I haven't changed anything. So yeah, it's going to find the default images. It's also found that there's an invalid URL in the email content. So when you're seeing these sorts of messages, it's worthwhile looking at them and resolving them. Normally it'll save you a lot of embarrassment about having the wrong link in, or an invalid link. It won't pick up if it's a wrong link necessarily, but an invalid link, or that you haven't changed some default content or something. So check these warnings out. We don't have Google Analytics configured, so we're not going to do that. We're not using reply tracking. This email is ready to go. We are going to say, take me to my canvas. So now what we've got is we've got someone that we add to the list manually. They wait a day, then they get this first message. What is this response template? Let's have a look at it. Configure an action. Enable a response action based on a contact's response. So if someone hits return and responds to it, we will need response tracking on for this. So you've got to make sure you've got it on. Well, sometimes you'll need it if it's on. That's if it's replied. If it gets delivered, you can do a response. If it's opened, if it's skipped, if they click on a link, if they click on a specific link. Let's just see what happens with an opened trigger, shall we? Or opened action. So if the email gets opened, we can then configure the response. Nope, that configures the email. I'm on the wrong one. Here we go. Oh, it puts a thingy in here. Does it? No, it puts the thingy in here. So if the message gets opened, we've now got another trigger in here, another option in here. What does this tell us? Oh, so if the email is opened, it waits 3 days before it will send the next one. So it actually it actually changes our weight. So this weight now, because we've configured response. Wow, that did my head in for a moment. Because we've configured response and we've said if the email gets opened, then it will allow this trigger to run. But if this trigger doesn't, if this isn't met, it's just going to stop here, I believe. It's not going to go any further. So let's have a look at the responses that we can use. No, we don't want to delete it, darling, please. I want to edit the response, that one there. We can say if it gets delivered. So if it's not getting delivered, it's not going to send out any more emails. If you don't want, if it's going to get bounced or something, you don't want it to go through, you can select delivered. I'm just going to cancel out and we're just going to turn the response off because I don't want that on there. Okay, so we've got them now. We've got entering the list. We wait a day. We send the first message. We then wait 3 days. We send another message. We wait 5 days. Um, sorry. I believe that this is 5 days from the day they enter the list or the trigger is set. Oh, you see how we've broken the connection here? We just, oh, no, we haven't. It just doesn't show because it was hidden. There we go. So this will be sent 1 day, and then 2 days later, they'll get the next email. Then 2 days later, they'll get the next email. And then at the end of this segment, we update a field, and let's have a look and see what update field gives us. Update field for contacts entering this stage of the workflow. So choose the field to update. I would normally use a tag here. I might even have a specific field to say that they've received this, that they've received the first automation. Up to you. If you don't want to use that one, we can just delete it and it will go. So that's how you do a really basic automation. The big thing that you need to know is how long between each message do you want them to wait? What is it you want them to do? Have you got your templates configured? Have you got your content ready to go? Do you want to use A/B testing? Let's have a look at some of the other things we can add in here. So we did the update field. Let's say at the bottom here, we've got the create message, but now what we want to do is at the end of this automation, let me just move that down, and now I'll scroll down and move it down a bit. We actually want to send off an email, and we can say notification subject line. So set the subject line, select an email. It can only go to the people that are configured in the system, and let them know that this has been run for this contact. I don't know if that's got a lot of utility. It might have some utility. It's interesting. Okay. I think I have done with a basic automation. If you wanted to, if like, sorry, I just said I thought I've done and then I had another thought. Let's say we get to here and we want to not only send an SMS, a message, but we also want to send them an SMS. How would we do that? Well, I would come here and I would put a multi-way in here, and I'd cut that, join that there, bring that down and join that there. How do I do that? I didn't mean to click on it, sorry. Let's configure. Nope, that's not what I want them to do. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's not a multi-way. You see how easy it is just to join things up once you've got it all in? You can just move things around. Let's say we want to send an SMS and we want to send the email, then we want to send the SMS. and then we want them to wait. It is as easy as that to add that step in there. So after one day, they'll get an SMS from us and they will get an email message, and then they'll wait another 2 days and they'll get the next message, then they'll wait another 2 days. And you can add SMSs into this flow simply by dragging the SMS box into the flow. It's always a bit of a journey when you're going through things. It doesn't matter how well you know something, by the way, you still get into something, you go, what did that mean? And especially when you use like lots of different systems and you do lots of different things, it's did that one go that way or did that one go this way? So I'm not going to have all of those sort of little errors edited out. I want to leave them in there so you can see them, so you can understand that mistakes do get made, as well as, this is how you do things. Okay. What do you reckon, guys? Do you think you can use this? Is this something that is of benefit to you? Have you used it? Do you already have automation set up? What's the benefits of them? And how do you feel this lines up against what you're already using? Love to know your thoughts. Come across and join my community. AskCharlyLeetham.locals.com. Designed for business owners like yourselves who want to get a better handle on their tech, who want to understand how to do these things a little better, if only to understand what their own technical team and their own support people are telling them, if not to actually do them themselves. And I'm not saying you should be doing them yourselves. Outsourcing, delegating tasks like this are the absolute best things you can be doing, but understanding how they run so that if you get into a bind and you need to check it, it is important. You need to understand how these tools work, at least at a high level. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know on my community. You can also you can leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. And if this video has been useful to you, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I get more content. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.